Hi there, Dee. So it was a big miss, but economists and retail analysts are kind of looking at this in different ways. So total retail sales fell 1.9% in December from the month prior, much worse than expected, but grew nearly 17% since last year. JP Morgan economist Daniel Silver says, quote, the news from the past week, including stronger inflation and downward revision to November retail sales, was negative on the whole for real consumption in the fourth quarter. Whereas JP Morgan retail analyst Matt Boss said on CNBC earlier that it was, quote, actually the best holiday in nearly 20 years, and the underlying tone is actually very robust. Now, Silver said the December sales drop from November, quote, wasn't all a COVID story because non-store retail sales plunged 8.7% in December. So we weren't necessarily shifting from store to online. But retail analysts remind us that a decent amount of online holiday shopping was done earlier this year because of worries about shipping times and availability with the ongoing supply chain congestion. Based on what we know from retailers and what shoppers have said in many surveys, that is. Now, looking at the numbers compared to last year, December non-store retail sales grew nearly 11%, which some classify as actually impressive after the big online growth we saw last December. So there's a number of different ways that you could read this report. And of course, if you're looking month over month, it's not necessarily an encouraging trend, John, for perhaps what's to come. But if you're looking at the holiday sales quarter or 2 months maybe altogether, perhaps it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, so the takeaway seems to be, hey, there were all these warnings presciently from you, of course, and others about what was happening in the supply chain. Hey, shop early. From Adobe and others, we were hearing that is indeed what consumers are doing. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, not as big as they had been in the past, and probably neither were those dates later in December. So when you look at the omni-channel related numbers here, when you look at the e-commerce related numbers, those were higher too, were they not? So is this in a way encouraging for tech?
Yeah, again, yeah. So when you look at that month over month, to your point, John, from November, they did fall. The non-store retail number, which is largely, of course, e-commerce. Catalog sales are in there too, but not quite as big. Year over year, though, they were up when you're looking at December, and up double digits, which is actually about in line from where the season was projected to be. And so I don't think overall, when I look at these year over year numbers, that they were all that discouraging. Now, that being said, of course, inflation plays a key point and is going to likely really drag on our ability or maybe interest in spending on some of these discretionary categories going forward. So I think you could look at this a couple different ways, but I agree. I don't think it's totally discouraging for technology. And again, because of some of the supply chain issues, there were many shoppers that ordered online and then picked up in store, which lowers the cost for the retailers of shipping that good, that final mile, because the consumers did the work.
Yeah. National Retail Federation big show happening in New York over the next few days. There'll be a lot of talk about that. I'll be talking to IBM's CEO, Arvind Krishna, about it, as a matter of fact. Courtney, thanks.